Discovery number 13. Expectations versus reality. How's this? Zoot asked Breckan, and unfocused his eyes slightly. He was sitting on Breckan's bed, his legs dangling over the edge. Breckan was standing across from him. Looks all right, said Breckan grudgingly, fidgeting with his shirt. But still, Zoot? What? It's not safe? Yes, I know. We've been over this. Breckan never saw Zoot look so defiant before. He swallowed and decided that if anything were to go wrong during their escape, did he really want to have argued with his friend beforehand? No. I'm sorry, said Breckan. You're right. I just hope it goes well. I hope so too, said Zoot, and Breckan saw Zoot's fear simmer behind his defiance. Breckan thought he should say something else. Anything, to show that he cared, but he didn't know what. Finally, he reached out for Zoot's hand, and just with the sound of the door opening made him freeze. Zoot quickly unfocused his eyes. Well, dear, said his mother from the doorway, looking as though she'd barely slept, have you fixed him? He still looks pretty broken to me. I, I, Breckan swallowed. Calm down. Stick to the plan. I have fixed him. He seems to be a bit more responsive, though not much. He. Breckan had a sudden idea. He seems to register the rodents when I put them close to him. I think he just needs a little more time, and then he'll be his old self again. We don't have any more time, yelled his mother. He needs to come with me to the lab right now. Zoot had been right about his mother's intentions. So far, so good. You can't be serious. Look at the state of him. Would you rather I kill him now and be done with it? She spat the words like venom. No, no, of course not. But please, at least let me come with you. I want to know he's all right. And let me bring the rats. They might still bring him out of this state. She narrowed her eyes into evaluating slits. Fine. I don't see the harm in that. But you better not be playing any tricks on me, boy. I wouldn't dream of it. He gently scooped up Mo and Rizzo in his hands, and felt his stomach turn as he saw his mother forcefully pull Zoot up by his arm. Zoot's legs looked shaky, and Breckan didn't think it was part of the act. He walked a few paces behind his mother and Zoot, trying to keep his pace and breathing steadily. Vaguely, he wondered if his father and the guard would still be locked in the laboratory, and if so, how his mother planned on getting into the laboratory without releasing them. Maybe he didn't want to know. Then he saw Zoot make his move. If he hadn't been paying attention, he could have missed it. The hand on Zoot's ungripped arm slowly moved, then suddenly and quietly shot downwards and to the side. When his arm shot back, there was something glistening in his hand. Breckan allowed himself a smile when he saw his mother continue to saunter on as though nothing had happened. They held the keys now. Now all they had to do was start sprinting at the right moment. But then, right in the corridor before the open space where they wanted to start running, Zoot's mother bent down to take off her stilettos. Zoot looked a bit wobbly at the sight of their pointy heels, but they couldn't just sprint past her. She blocked the corridor with her kneeling frame, and she could easily grab one of their ankles. For though she was unclasping her shoes, she kept her eyes trained on Zoot, as though to say, "Don't you dare." "Right," she said. "Can you understand me?" Zoot nodded vaguely. "Good. I am going to take one of these and put it to your throat. I won't press it down too hard, as long as my silly husband and that awful security guard don't make a move and force me to use it on you. Do you understand me? Zoot nodded again, looking as though he was going to be sick, but keeping up the act. Good. She slowly stood up. Hang on. She cocked her head to one side. Is that what I think it is? She cast one look at Zoot's hand. And then, suddenly and without warning, she took one of her stilettos and plunged it into Zoot's stomach. Ah! Zoot yelled in blind panic and put his hands to the wound. Breckan was frozen to the spot. He hardly noticed Mo sprinting away from his hands. Ah! Ah! His shirt was turning a deep red. Then he gave Breckan a wild look, a look so fierce, so serious, so desperate. Run! Zoot removed one hand from his stomach and flung the keys towards Breckan. They skidded away to his side on the floor. Breckan unfroze and scrambled to get them. He felt the cold and wet metal in his hands and clasped it so tightly it hurt. Then he looked up and saw Zoot's eyes lose their focus. Not pretend this time. His mother towered over him with a wicked grin. Breckan wasn't sure whether she thought she was losing or winning. But it didn't matter. Nothing mattered now, and yet everything did. In these moments that felt like seconds and like years, and like scars for years to come. As Zoot finally lost consciousness and slumped to the ground, he made one final grab for Breckan's mother. It was a desperate, only enough to throw her off balance for a moment, but she regained herself before Breckan could make his move. She turned to him, a menacing glint in her eye. You insolent little... Ah! Mo had bitten her in the ankle, and she jumped up, clutching it. Before she had fully regained herself, Breckan rushed past her, Rizzo in one hand and the keys in the other. His legs feeling weak and tears in his eyes, yet enough adrenaline in his veins to see him through. In a flurry of fear, he went through doors and corridors, shakily putting the right keys in the right locks until he smelled the scent of sea and saw the sky above him. Then, unable to go on any longer, he broke down.